The time is 6:15. Here is the news edited by Anjana Dodangoda. Read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal of the United Kingdom, arrives in Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister assures the government will resolve land ownership issues of people in North. Report with proposals for electricity tariff revision presented to Parliament. Number of husband beneficiaries to be increased to 2.4 million families. Foreign news. US-UK forces shoot down 21 drones and missiles fired by Houthis. Sports news. Free entry to Sri Lanka's final ODI against Zimbabwe. Local news in detail. Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, the Princess Royal of the United Kingdom, arrived in Sri Lanka a short while ago. She is accompanied by her spouse, Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, and will be on the island until 13th of January. The Princess is also slated to meet President Ranil Wickremesinghe and representatives of businesses and charities during the 3-day official visit. She is also expected to visit the Save the Children Sri Lanka program as well as a Commonwealth War grave under her new role as President of the Commonwealth War Graves. The High Commission of UK in Colombo said in a statement the visit comes as the two countries mark 75 years of diplomatic relations. The UK and Sri Lanka share many strong personal ties and common interests, making the two countries natural partners through the Commonwealth. Her Royal Highness previously visited the island nation in March 1995 as patron of Save the Children. Princess Anne is the second child and only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, and the only sister of the King Charles III. The Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that steps will be taken to resolve the land ownership issues of all the people residing in the North within the next 2 months. He said this while replying to the issue raised in Parliament today by Member of Parliament Charles Nirmalanathan. He asked whether necessary steps can be taken to provide deeds of lands and government welfare schemes to permanent residents under the Middle Class Land Programme. The Prime Minister pointed out that the government has already started discussions in this regard, and the District Coordinating Committee Chairman and they are working on the issue to find out the possibility of finding illegal residents and granting them permission to live in those lands and issuing certificates of occupancy on the land to them. The report containing proposals and suggestions for the revision of electricity tariffs in January 2024 was tabled in Parliament today. The relevant report, compiled by the Sectoral Oversight Committee on Energy and Transport, was presented to the Parliament by the committee's chairman, MP Nalaka Bandara Kotteguda. Presenting the report to the President, MP Kotteguda said, it has been specially suggested to provide people with the benefit of increase in the hydropower generation. Moreover, several proposals, including the introduction of a package system to settle electricity bills, removing the value-added tax imposed on solar panels, and providing reliefs to the manufacturing industry, are also reportedly included in the report. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Excelsior. Live the life you want.
Continuing with more local news, the book I Am Austin, authored by Austin Fernando, a former presidential secretary, was presented to President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. Serving as both an autobiography and a commentary on public service and political activism. The book intervenes Austin Fernando's experience in public service with reflections on the intricacies of political engagement. The Central Bank Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe said Sri Lanka will review exchange control imposed in the recent past, allowing economic activities to take place. Sri Lanka's Foreign Exchange Act will also be amended in early 2024. With observed improvements in the liquidity position of the domestic foreign exchange market, the central bank would review the existing restrictions on certain capital foreign exchange outflows on a priority basis, with a view to gradually unwinding these restrictions, according to the text of the speech. The exchange controls are complex and there are queries and clarification requested, he said, delivering an annual policy speech. That ends local news.
People's Bank Excelsior, a comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you. People's Bank Excelsior, for professionals who dare to dream.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
State Minister of Finance Shehan Singh states that measures will be taken to increase the number of Aswasama welfare benefit recipients to 2.4 million families in consideration of the current dire economic situation. During a discussion held with the representatives of the State Bank regarding the future actions to be taken for the continuation of the Aswasama welfare benefit program in a more effective manner, Singh mentioned that accordingly, the relevant proposal would be submitted to the Cabinet of Ministers as per the directives of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Aswasama welfare program was formed to provide welfare for 2 million families, out of which 1.4 million families are currently receiving the benefits. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
This is Watchlight.
The trains operating on the Batiklo line have been limited to Polonnaruwa due to flooding. The Department of Railways mentioned that this decision was arrived at the railway tracks remain uninundated after recent downpour. Meanwhile, the Department of Railways also said that the night mail train plying from Colombo Fort to Badulla was cancelled due to the prevailing situation. That ends Watchlight.
Coming up, world news.
Headlines first. US-UK forces shoot down 21 drones and missiles fired by Houthis. Maldives faces boycott from one of its largest sources of tourism. EU scientists named 2023 as the world's hottest year on record. World news in detail. The United States Military Central Command has said it shot down 18 drones launched by Yemen's Houthi rebels over the southern Red Sea. The armed group's 26th attack on international shipping lanes in the last 7 weeks, working with forces from the United Kingdom, CENTCOM said 2 anti-ship cruise missiles and 1 anti-ship ballistic missile were also brought down. CENTCOM said fighter jets from the Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carrier and 4 destroyers, including one from the UK, took part in the operation. Maldives is facing a boycott from one of its biggest sources of tourism income after 3 of its officials mocked India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, sparking calls from Indian citizens and celebrities to shun the sun-kissed gateway for domestic beaches instead. The controversy erupted after Modi posted images to social platform X of himself snorkeling and walking along a beach in Lakshadweep, a southern Indian island chain in the Lakshadweep Sea off the coast of Kerala. The European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service yesterday said last year was the planet's hottest on record by a substantial margin and likely the world's warmest in the last 100,000 years. Copernicus Climate Services confirmed 2023 as the hottest year in global temperature records going back to 1850. When checked against paleoclimatic data, records from the sources said such as three rings and air bubbles in glaciers. Director the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service said it was very likely the warmest year in the last 100,000 years. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. US-UK forces shoot down 21 drones and missiles fired by Houthis. Maldives faces boycott from one of its largest sources of tourism. EU scientists named 2023 as the world's hottest year on record. That ends world news.
Development news.
Chairman Keith Bernard said container terminals at Sri Lanka's Colombo have seen daily volume surge as much as 80%, a top official said, as the port stepped in as the transshipment hub for Middle Eastern by vessels over Houthi attacks. SLBC container terminals, which usually handles about 5,000 to 6,020 food equivalent units a day, have seen daily volumes rise to 8,000 to 9,000 units, he said. The other terminals in the port have seen similar trends. SLBC's Jaya and East terminals handle about 30% of the port's container traffic. The rest of the traffic is spread between Colombo International Container Terminal run by China's CM Ports Group, which can handle the largest ships, and South Asia Gateway terminals owned by publicly listed John Keel's Holdings. That ends development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Cricket news. The public will be allowed to watch the third ODI match between Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe free of charge, Sri Lanka Cricket posted in X. Accordingly, both the upper and lower stands of the C and D blocks of the R. Premdas International Cricket Stadium in Colombo will be made available for the public. Accordingly, the entrance gates for the respective stands will be opened at 1 p.m. tomorrow for the public to enter. That came to you on Sports News.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Fitz Air, Sri Lanka's leading low-cost airline, has announced significant enhancements to its service offering by obtaining approval for in-flight self-catering. This strategic move aligns with the airline's vision to offer low-cost international travel. Fitz Air's in-flight catering service prioritizes affordability and variety, providing passengers with wallet-friendly meal choices that won't strain their budgets. The in-flight menu features practical yet satisfying meal options, ensuring passengers receive excellent value for spend. In addition to these selections, the airline offers a range of snack packs and essential refreshments, ensuring travelers stay fueled and refreshed during their journey. That came to you on Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news. The current value-added tax increase will have an impact on inflation, but it will not increase more than 5% this year, said State Minister of Finance Ranjit Simbalapete yesterday. The year-on-year inflation has already increased from 3% to 4% in December. He said that the current inflation may rise up to around 5% due to the VAT increase, but it would not move to the double-digit level, he said. He recalled that the government did take prudent economic steps soon after the Aragal year to bring down the inflation from the world fifth highest rate of 70% to around 3% within 1 year. The minister said that a new tax is being implemented to increase government revenue, which had fallen drastically. Our aim is to increase tax revenue from 12% to 15%, which will help us to collect around 645 billion rupees. That ends economic news.
Weather report.
Prevailing showery conditions are expected to be reduced in the northern, north-central, Uva and eastern provinces by tomorrow onwards. Showers will occur at times in the eastern and Uva provinces and Hambantota district. Several spells of showers may occur in north-central province. Showers will occur at several places in the western, Sabargamu and central provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts during the night. That ends weather report. To bring to an end this evening news broadcast on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal of the United Kingdom, arrives in Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister assures the government will resolve land ownership issues of people in North. Report with proposals for electricity tariff revision presented to Parliament. Number of Aswasma beneficiaries to be increased to 2.4 million families. Foreign news, US-UK forces shoot down 21 drones and missiles fired by Houthis. Sports news, free entry to Sri Lanka's final ODI against Zimbabwe. With that, we wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka. Back to my good friend and US Chagi Dabre.